Welcome to The Explainer. You know, for a long time, if you looked at the world's biggest arms importers, India was always right near the top of that list. But something massive is changing. Today, we're diving into how India is flipping that script, going from a buyer to a builder.
And really, it all starts with these incredible, powerful symbols. Just look at this, the INS Vikrant. This is the largest, most complex warship ever designed and built in India. And trust me, it's way more than just a ship. It's like a floating testament to this whole national mission.
So when you see something like that, it begs a huge question, right? How? How did a nation that for decades, I mean decades, relied on other countries for its most critical military gear, how did they pull off this kind of massive transformation? Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look back at the age of imports to see where things started. Then, we'll get into the self-reliance mission that sparked the change. After that, we'll check out the amazing results across the sea, air, and space. And finally, we'll peek into the future, what's next on warfare's frontier.
All right, first up, the age of imports. To really get a sense of just how big a deal this whole builder thing is, we've got to rewind the clock a bit. So for a long time after independence, if you looked at India's military, a lot of the big-ticket items were, well, imported. Think about it. Their very first aircraft carrier, the original INS Vikrant, that was British-built. Those heavy-hitting destroyers and early submarines, they came from the Soviet Union. This total reliance on foreign suppliers, that was the baseline. That was the starting point for this entire story. But as you can imagine, that dependency couldn't last forever. A huge strategic shift was already in motion, and it was all driven by one really powerful mission: to build, not just buy. And the core idea behind that mission is something called strategic autonomy. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, put simply, it's about freedom. It's a country's ability to act on the world stage based on its own interests, without being held back or pushed around by the countries that sell it weapons. And if you want a perfect example of this mission in action, look no further than the Agni missile program. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's so deliberate, a clear step-by-step evolution. It kicked off with a medium-range missile and then, over about 2 decades, just systematically leveled up, all the way to an intercontinental reach. That move put India into a very, very exclusive global club. You know, becoming self-reliant also meant mastering totally different kinds of technology. Take these two, for example. On one hand, you've got the ballistic missile, like the Agni. Think of it like a massive artillery shell shot into the upper atmosphere. It gets a huge boost at the start, then pretty much just follows an arc down to its target. Great for big, fixed locations. But then you've got the cruise missile, like the BrahMos, and that's a whole different beast. This thing flies low, it can hug the terrain, and it navigates itself the entire way. It's perfect for hitting smaller, more precise targets, even ones that are on the move.
Okay, so with that foundation, let's see how this mission has totally reshaped India's arsenal across every single domain of modern warfare.
And you can see the results right here. It's actually a night and day difference. On the left, you've got an older Soviet-built Rajput-class destroyer. On the right, a modern Indian-built Vishakhapatnam class. The new ship, it's bigger, it's way stealthier, and boy does it pack a heavier punch. We're talking about swapping out old Styx missiles for the super-advanced, supersonic BrahMos. That's a serious upgrade.
Now, this transformation isn't just happening on the surface of the ocean. It goes deep, down into the silent service, the submarine fleet.
So today, India's running a really diverse underwater fleet. Yeah, they still have some proven Russian and German designs, but now they're fielding their own Kalvari-class attack submarines. But the real game changer, the most important piece of this whole puzzle, is the Arihant class. That's the heart of their underwater nuclear deterrent. And that brings us to this number 1. With its first homegrown, nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, the INS Arihant, becoming fully operational, India pulled off something that only a tiny handful of nations have ever managed. It completed its nuclear triad. What that means is it now has the ability to launch a nuclear strike from land, from the air, and now from the deep sea.
Up in the skies, you see a really similar story playing out. Sure, you've got these incredibly powerful imported jets, like the Su-30 MKI and the Rafale forming the modern backbone, but the future? The future is homegrown. The indigenously designed and built HAL Tejas light combat aircraft is now the one set to replace the legendary but very old MiG-21 fleet. And watching over all of this, from high above, is the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. They've put up this amazing constellation of satellites that gives the military everything it needs. We're talking secure communication links for the Navy and Air Force, all-weather border surveillance that can see through clouds, even the ability to pinpoint enemy radar signals right from orbit. It's the ultimate eye in the sky.
So okay, they've been mastering the traditional domains, land, sea, and air. What's next? Well, now India is taking that same builder mindset and applying it to the technologies that are going to define the conflicts of the future.
And that absolutely includes a massive push into drone warfare. You can see the strategy here. It starts with surveillance, deploying smart, AI-powered systems on the borders. Then it moves to precision strikes, using things like loitering munitions. And of course, you have to have countermeasures, systems to detect and neutralize enemy drones. The ultimate goal behind all of this? To become a global drone manufacturing hub by 2030.
And it doesn't stop with drones. Artificial intelligence is now being officially woven into everything, from border security to keeping ships and planes running, all driven by dedicated new agencies. And to fight on the digital battlefield, a tri-service defense cyber agency has been set up. Their job is to literally write the playbook for modern cyber warfare.
So what does this all add up to? Let's be clear, this isn't just about getting new toys. This whole journey, from being one of the world's biggest arms importers to a nation that designs and builds its own advanced military systems, that marks a fundamental, a profound shift in India's strategic posture on the world stage.
And that, of course, leaves us with one final big question. As technology keeps changing the very definition of warfare, with AI, hypersonics, quantum computing just over the horizon, this incredible buyer-to-builder story is really just getting started. So, what will India build next?